Hi guys, this is Mr. Cardoza. I wanted to explain a couple of things this morning to you. The first of which is a new resource which I've added into your Google Classroom. This is a notes book. It has tons of notes and explanations and vocabulary and things like that we're going to be working on this year. This is a document that has been created by the Spanish department with tons of explanations and everything that you need to work on assignments this year. So if you're getting stuck on something, this is a really valuable resource. So if you are on your normal Google Classroom page, if you go to classwork, this can be any of the classes. It doesn't have to be just the 8th grade. Go to classwork and you should have a tab here just called Notesbook, and it'll say Spanish 1 Guided Notesbook here. You click on that and you can open up the PDF. So for example, I've got it open here on this left side. You can see here in the beginning, let me scroll a little slower. There's a table of contents, talks about the different units and stuff. We won't necessarily go in this order all the time, but it does cover all of the topics and gives you page numbers for them. So this beginning section here, alphabet, colors, numbers, greetings, all that kind of stuff is stuff that we have been working on. So it's got all the names of the letters of the alphabet. It's got numbers. It's got colors, greetings, basic conversation stuff that we've been talking about in class. You can reference all of that in here. It also gives a guide on numbers. If you ever forget, we've only covered 1 through 10, but we will get further into that as we go. If you ever need a number guide, you can come back to this section here and look at it. Days of the week are included here, months, tons of stuff, weather, things that you may need as we go. All right, now let's scroll back up to the top here. Today, a new topic that I want to explain to you myself first is using the verb gustar. So if you see gustar, it's first listed right here, Unit 1.1. It says pages 15 through 19. So if we scroll down to page, a little too far. Come on. Computer's going a little bit slow today. Sorry, it's lagging. If we go down to page 15, you can see that it gives a little bit of an explanation, some examples, and it also gives vocabulary that gets used with these phrases a lot. This says here, los pasatiempos. These are like hobbies or pastimes. Okay, so they list lots of phrases that are going to get used in worksheets and activities practicing this topic. Okay, so these will be good to look at, especially if you get a question on future homework, but you will, that talks about some of these things, especially like andar en patineta, skateboarding, or montar en bicicleta, bike riding. Those get brought up a lot in worksheets, and this is a place you can go to look at that kind of thing. Okay, they give foods and all sorts of other things like that. But here, if you scroll down and even a little bit further, they give you a written explanation. So say you forget the explanation I'm about to give you, or you need some examples, or you need to reference what the individual things mean, you can come down and find that information here. Okay. Now, I would like to use this tab over here to give a couple of examples. So we're learning about the verb gustar. Wow, it's typing very slowly today. Gustar. Gustar means to like. Okay. It works a little differently than some of the other verbs and things that we're going to learn in the future. So it's a little bit special, but it gets used a lot when you're talking. So it makes sense to cover it in its own way. Okay. So a big thing that you're going to need to know is how to use it talking about different people. So if you wanted to say something like, I like, you need to phrase it using me gusta. Okay. And then after me gusta, you would put the thing that you like right here. Okay, so me gusta. And make sure you pronounce it that way, me gusta. All right, a lot of students will start to say this in kind of a strange way, so please pay attention to how I'm saying it, okay? You can see that this is all covered over here in your Notesbook. So if you forget what I wrote here, you can go back and find it here on page 18 in your Notesbook. All right. If you wanted to say something like you like, you would say te gusta, and then put the thing that you like after that. So you can see here that the difference between these two, me is for I, which sounds a lot like me in English, or looks a lot like it, and then you is te. Okay, if you know, the word tú in Spanish means you, and so this is related to that word. Te and tú are very similar. Okay, and like I said, remember, in the future you'll use tú for you. For now, using Gustar, you have to use te. There's a special reason for that. It's a little bit complicated, so we're just gonna remember at this point without the complex explanation of why you're doing that. Okay, he likes. You'd use le, gusta, in the thing. This also works for she. Let's just add that. She, also it, or if you remember, we have this word in Spanish, usted. Usted is like the formal version of you. So if you're trying to be extra polite or talk to somebody you don't know, you would use this. And in Spanish, it's all covered with one thing here. You can specify this a little bit more. Okay, the way that's done is you can add something in front. So you can say and then the person that you're specifying. So if it's he, you could put él. If it was she, you could put ella. If it was the usted one, you could put that here, a usted. Or if it's a person's name, like you're talking about Carlos, a Carlos, that would go here. Okay, or whatever the object was, whatever you're talking about, you put that there, and then you can add your le gusta, and then the thing that you like would go after it. All right, so you can specify this a little bit more using this and the person's name or whatever would go here. Okay, that can work for any of these. I like, you like, whatever. For we like, you would say nos gusta in your thing. You would have, there's a special one in Spanish, vosotros, which is kind of like the English y'all, which we'll talk about more later as well. Y'all is kind of the closest translation to this word in Spanish. It does get used mostly in Spain, less in Latin America, but y'all like would be os gusta, so it looks very similar to the nos gusta above here. And then the last one, les gusta, that's going to work for like you all, so it's a little bit more, it sounds a little bit more formal than this y'all, you all, right? Except that in Latin America, since they don't use this y'all, you always use this one. It can also work for they, so if you're not talking directly to the group of people, you can use this as well. It's les gusta. Okay. All right, so that's a basic explanation for how Gustar works. Let's do a couple of examples. So if I wanted to say, like, I like pizza, you could say that, me gusta pizza. Okay. If you wanted to say, you like the dog, right? This is a common word a lot of people know. You could say, te gusta, and then here you can even put the word da in here, el perro. Te gusta el perro. All right. Earlier we were talking about specifying with le gusta. So if you needed to say, like, he likes the apple, okay, you could say a él. That specifies that it's for sure he and not a she or it or something else. A él le gusta. And shoot, now I forgot the word that I said that I was going to have him like. The apple. La manzana. Okay. A él, this is the specifying he. He likes the and apple. Okay. So this is basically how you put it together in a sentence. Now, it's going to help if you learn more vocabulary and if you practice it more. Later on, we're going to have some assignments using Gustar, so you can go back and either reference this video or reference your notebook, or there are other online resources as well that you can use that will give you an explanation of this. Study Spanish is a good one. I'll put some links and things as we go. But that is all for today. We will practice this some more in classwork. All right. How do I pause this?